situation is, I think, probably the most f***ed up of the entire show.
And everybody's kind of forgotten about it. Today, Mikaela, we are going to be ranking the top 5 wildest moments in the home box office TV series Euphoria.
Home box office series.
The home box office. What is, in your opinion, the 5th wildest scene in Euphoria?
My number 5, 5th wildest moment on Euphoria was the Carnival episode. I put the moment when Cassie gets on the carousel, trying to do some weird flirty thing with this guy, kind of wants to show him that she wants to have sex. So she starts kind of like dry humping the carousel.
She's also on Molly.
Yeah, she's on Molly, dry humping the carousel, completes, and then suddenly has like a post-nut clarity moment, looks around and like everyone's watching.
And not only is everybody watching, but everybody is giving her the nastiest looks. As I was watching this too, I was like, how loud was she being? This is a carnival.
People are screaming, there's rides. It's like, how loud was she really in this moment?
One of my favorite parts after that scene is afterwards, she's like embarrassed, and then she says to Maddie,
I just think the Molly's like way too strong or something.
It's like, I don't know, you just had the best time ever.
It seemed like those drugs were working pretty good.
It's like sex in a pill.
What's your number 5?
My number 5 is the scene when Cal goes to confront Fez, because he thinks Fez has the tape of him having sex with Jules. This is such an insane show.
That's actually my number 4.
He goes to the drug dealer because his son told him that the drug dealer has the DVD of him having sex with an underage transgender student that goes to his son's high school. This show is insane. This is probably my favorite scene in the show too, because my favorite character, Ashtray, then proceeds to show that he's basically like a 12-year-old John Wick. He's got him at shotgun point, and Fez is kind of like interrogating Cal, who thought he was gonna come over there to kick some ass. And this 12-year-old kid is just calling bullshit for everything he's saying. He's like, no, he's a liar. Boom!
That scene is just so insane because it's like, why is this kid the muscle?
So my number 4 craziest scene was in the episode where it's Maddie's birthday, and Nate, her ex-boyfriend who's hooking up with her again, comes over, and Maddie's best friend, Cassie, who's secretly Nate, is there, and she's just been having a mental breakdown for the past 3 episodes at this point.
Yeah, the guilt is just eating her.
So in response to this, she just like drinks a lot of alcohol, and then you get in the hot tub, and the whole time, all these scenes, you're thinking they're about to get called out that she and Nate have been but no, she just throws up all over this hot tub, which is gross, but it's also just, it's an insane scene.
It's insane because you feel bad because also at the same time she's like, I'm so sorry. And there's nothing worse than when you're drunk and you're like, I can't stop.
And it's the worst place you can throw up. As a former pool cleaner, actually it wouldn't be that tough. You just drain it, fill it back up, throw some bleach in there. What's your number 3?
So my number 3 is like, it's a scene, but it also like kind of keeps carrying out throughout the show, is Kat randomly being like, okay, I'm gonna be like a findom cam girl. Right after she like loses her virginity and stuff, she's like, okay, I am like this sexual beast, and now I've figured out somehow online to make money. It's just such a wild thing where it's like suddenly it's like she's this high school girl who's just like camming with people from Pornhub, and is like, okay, I figured out that I'm gonna be camming with these guys while my parents are home. Out loud, no headphones is the wildest thing to me.
And she's not panicked that her parents are ever gonna walk in.
Never.
And see these old men talking to her while she's in dominatrix clothes.
Insane.
Yeah.
Anyways, that was my number 3. What's your number 3?
So my number 3 was in the first episode of season 2. It is Fez beating Nate Jacobs to an absolute pulp. How can you not root for the drug dealer who's dealing opiates to high school kids?
Because you know what though? I know so many guys like that, and they really are really nice to you.
But if you step back a little bit, every now and then I'm like, he is giving high school kids
drugs.
Oxycontin. That's kind of up. But it's just so great because he's talking to Lexi, and they're having a really great time, and they're chatting, and he's like, oh, I gotta go. And then he goes up casually, sees Nate, they kind of like talk a little bit.
The new year, playboy.
And then he hits him over the head with a fucking bottle.
Yeah.
And then he does the thing where he gets on him and he just beats him senseless. Which, by the way, just a little piece of advice, that'll kill a guy.
Yeah, don't do that.
Great scene though.
My number 2 is bringing it back to the Carnival episode. That scene where Maddie is like also on drugs. And she's like, I think I'm gonna go ahead and make a big scene. Everyone there like clears, makes like an audience, and she just kind of walks up and does her whole like, I'm not supposed to be here because I look like a hooker speech, and then she just looks at Nate's parents and just cusses out adults.
What in God's name is your problem? You
This should probably be both our number ones because literally as this scene happened, I said to you, is this real or is this like a dream?
Yeah, like it seemed like it's something where it's like, she wanted to say that, but she didn't say that. But
That seems crazy.
She did say that, and everyone just moved about their day. That happened, and then Nate obviously got pissed off, pulled her aside, choked her out, that whole thing. But yeah, I do love the hooker line of her being like, well, I'm dressed like a hooker sort of thing. That's like the only time they call out the fact that's like, she does dress ridiculous. And when I was in high school, I got sent to go change into gym shorts because I wore leggings and my shirt didn't like fully cover my butt. Anyways, what's your number 2?
So my number 2 was Nate when he goes over to Tyler's house the second time, and then proceeds to blackmail Tyler into basically turning himself in to go to prison for a crime he didn't commit.
You're gonna walk up to the receptionist and you're gonna tell her that you'd like to confess to a crime.
That whole situation is, I think, probably the most f***ed up of the entire show.
And everybody's kind of forgotten about it. So that scene was wild, and that scene was kind of infuriating to me because it was like, this poor kid already got put in a hospital. Why was there no investigation into that? Also, how does Nate keep getting into his house?
Welcome home.
Lock your door again.
I
Like,
know.
what's your number 1?
I put this as the number 1, not because it's like the wildest, but it is wild. It feels the most like realistic, like this could have actually happened. The scene where Cassie and Nate start hooking up in the bathroom, and she has to hide, so she gets in the bathtub. And she has to sit there and hide in the bathtub and listen to people. And the fact that like she just sat there, her phone rang. Like the most unrealistic part is that when the one guy does open the shower curtain, sees she's in there, and he goes, there's a chick in there. And Maddie doesn't care.
Who cares? You want to dance?
I immediately said to you, I was like, okay, so Maddie's also a terrible
so
person.
she's also a bad person.
There's a girl passed out in a bathtub at a party, and you're not even gonna,
But I don't know, I just like that scene. I thought that was crazy, and it was like, yeah, what else could you have done? What's your number 1?
My number 1 is the cat webcamming scene. This scene was so uncomfortable. At the start of the show, besides Lexi, Kat is the innocent one. And in the span of like 2 episodes, all of a sudden she's now dominatrix Kat. But when the old guy, who by the way, assuming he doesn't know how old she is, seems like a kind of terribly nice guy.
You gotta be one of the most beautiful creatures I've ever seen.
When he busts out the micro penis,
Yeah.
that's when it's like, what is this
What
show?
the is happening in this show?
So that's my number 1.
Insane show. There's a lot of wild stuff, and I'm sure as episodes keep coming out,
It's
it's
always
just
gonna
gonna
be
get
wild.
crazier.
Well, guys, there you have it. Those were our top 5 wildest moments in Euphoria. Do we miss any of yours? I'm sure we did because the whole show is just insane. Let us know in the comments. Make sure you head over to ranker.com, check out all the lists. There's a ton of Euphoria lists, and hopefully we get this list up there soon so you guys can vote on that as well. Besides that,
That's it.
have like a great day.
I love that.
Bye.
Bye.